realm of enlightenment and transformation, as brought to you by the Foundational Friday. Our core aim is to present and experience an opportunity for your soul to reascend to its place of origin while cultivating a healthier spiritual awareness and emotional maturity. The show serves as a free offering to the greater community and an addendum requirement for all our new spiritual training students. For all those listening, if you'd like to move closer to the calculations and fundamental understandings of the ANU order, be sure to pick up a book, Grasping the Root of Divine Power. If you desire a spiritual reading to help you map your current spiritual position in the face of your world and learn the greatest pathways for your fortune in this season, you can go to SaduluHouse.com. That's SADULUHOUSE.com. You can also go to OrishaReligion.com to find out how you can become a student and member of the ANU Spiritual Order. That's OrishaReligion.com.
Peace and power, everyone. This is Yuya Assaan-ANU, bringing to you another Foundational Friday experience on the Enlightenment and Transformation channel. On this particular Friday, we have a couple of extras for you all. For one, we start by saying that at 8:30 this evening, I will be on the Blue Click. Okay, that's BlogTalkRadio.com/THEBLUECLIQUE. Okay, that's the Blue Click, and I'll be on there, I believe, from 8:30 to 10. And that particular subject we'll be speaking about is understanding the divine duality, the duality of nature and the duality of divine expression. And with the show title is the Yin Yang Twin, like that. But it should prove to be a very interesting conversation. So definitely go on over there and check out the dialogue, and and call in and ask your questions. So also, I am including an additional piece on this particular show, which I will probably put up, if not tonight, or it'll probably be tonight or first thing in the dawning. So for those of you who are listening to the archives, definitely make sure you listen to part 2, where I will be going into breathing exercises to not only increase your psychic awareness, but also to increase and invigorate your gift of prophecy. Okay, so definitely check that out. And in this show, what I really wanted to cover was the ideas of separation and really some techniques to increase your awareness. I know that's a big thing that a lot of people work at, especially, when they're doing divination and they're just trying to kind of figure out if they're on point or not, if they're hitting the mark. And that can be sometimes a tough thing, especially if you're divining for yourself, or you just find your readings just keep coming out in a way where it's a bit confusing. And I always say, you can't really look at any type of divination, whether it be with Odu, whether it be with tarot, or anything, as cut and dry. I know there's a lot of books out, mine included, where it kind of gives you templates, or some books will tell you exactly what certain things mean when they come up in your readings. Reading doesn't work this way. And you can't really judge and tell a reading based on someone else's interpretation of the symbols or the cards or the castings of that reading. You have to be able to go into that place yourself. And this is where we get into the idea of the guru, right? The guru. A lot of people know that term, and it just usually seems to mean someone who teaches other people. But there's a great difference between a teacher and a guru, okay? It's senseless to even disagree with the guru, okay? Because unlike a teacher, a guru is in a place and in a space where there's harmony, where there's vibrational harmony. Okay, a real guru, a true guru. And what happens is that whether you enjoy the thoughts that go on in your head, whether you or if you don't enjoy your thoughts or your psychic awareness or psychic images that come to you, the guru is already aware of it, and they accept you and receive you regardless of whatever the image is. Okay, so that is, or whatever the thought is. All right, so that's very important for you to understand. When not only you understand your own self as an internal guru and where your guru consciousness lies, but when you also strive to understand how a guru is going to work with a person and how a guru is going to guide a person as opposed to a teacher. A teacher can easily fall into the trappings and the realms of training at any point. Okay, and it's a teacher's supposed to educate, and many times I've taught you all the difference between education and training. But now, when you're dealing with that guru consciousness, you're dealing with something that exists beyond identity, right? Now, as we've been studying our Orisha and our emanations of Olodumare, and I have to say on a side note, I know a lot of people have taken issue with that concept that I've put forth of not only a Yoruba trinity of sorts, but direct emanations of Olodumare. And those who have disagreed, you just don't know. I have to be honest. It's new information to you, and because it's new information, you immediately say, well, that's not what I was taught, that's not what I heard. This is poppycock. So, that's just silly. Research. Ask your elders, and if they don't know, they will find out for you. That's their job. Okay? But I'm certainly not open to debate or anything like that, especially because I know what I know. All right? So, and that's not for a lot of people. There's only been a couple of, a lot of that has died down since the beginning. I guess people have just seen what I've been giving has shown and proven itself to be helpful and beneficial for the listener. So that's really what's most important, that we're being transformed and we're ascending to where we need to get to. So again, when we're dealing with this guru vibration or this guru energy, we're dealing with the energy that exists beyond the vibration of question. Okay, it's the energy that exists where there is complete harmony and oneness, and not only our exertions, but there's complete harmony and oneness in knowing. Okay, so a teacher may not necessarily be there because teachers are often given a script and they have an agenda that they have to fulfill, whereas the guru has no script because the guru accepts every hideous and beautiful thing that is within you. The guru understands the oneness of all things. And I want you to keep this in mind when you're thinking about vibrations, right? You talk about vibes a lot. I get good vibes from this, or I have a bad vibe from that. And that's a part of your psychic energy. I'm covering this because a lot of people have spoken to me about their readings and things like that. I want you to understand that there are different levels of readings. As I teach the Obi, or really the Agbani is the first level of reading that's taught in grasping the root of divine power. It's the coconut, which is not actually Obi. Obi is using kola nut. But the Agbani is a tool you can use for your readings, but it builds you up. It builds up your psychic energy because it gives you less answers. So you're basically working with a yes and no and think about it type of answer. And because of those possibilities, now you have to invoke your psychic awareness a bit more. And in our second piece to this segment, I get into how you actually do that, how you start to build up your psychic energy through just regular breathing exercises. But I want you to picture this thing that we speak about called vibrations or vibes, right? And of course, when you're dealing with vibrations, you cannot neglect to include the idea of frequency, okay? Because all things vibrate at certain frequencies. Not only do the crystals in your bodies vibrate at the frequency, but radio waves are transmitted at certain frequencies. Cell phone, if you're listening on your phone right now, it's receiving and transmitting at a certain frequency, which in effect is the science and essence of telepathy. Telepathy is a process of attuning yourself to another person's frequency. And when you can attune yourself to another person's frequency using your mental energy, or those light waves, mental light waves, you can gather and draw yourself to certain images and to certain people with the power of Oshun/love, and then project or receive, just like a radio station. You can send out and you can even receive transmissions. This is done through vibrational frequency. Some people call it telepathy. There's all kinds of frequencies in the universe, that scientists know of, and they transmit waves upon them, and they're still learning new frequencies and new algorithms for transmission. It was only been up to recent that they figured out that DNA within itself has a syntax. Very amazing if you think about it, that DNA code actually has a language. So whereas you may think it's just a naturally a biological system of organized cells and molecules, there's actually an alphabet that DNA uses to speak to new initiates, and its evolving pattern. It's pretty amazing to me. But anyway, we're talking about vibrations here in the guru idea. And I want you to look at it like in this sense. If your vibrations are that of a paranoid person, right? And that's what's being received, right? Vibrations of paranoia. So when you're around pets, especially birds and cats, or very young children, or other psychotics, they will know you immediately. Okay? They will know who you are immediately. Okay? Because of the vibration that you're vibrating on. You can even say, "Come here," and "How are you?" and "Come here, boy," and you'll find that the dog will growl at you. Okay? And you can't figure out why. It's because of the frequency that you're vibrating on. So when you're doing things like readings, or you're doing any type of spiritual, or just any type of ritualistic work, the first thing you want to be able to do is to check your vibration. Okay, you want to be able to raise your mental energy up beyond the level of emotional instability and volatility. Okay, and that will help you to be able to observe from the outside what your vibration is. Whatever your vibration is what you will attract through your reading and what you will send out through your reading. So even doing a simple Agbani reading, right? A simple Agbani reading could attract the presence of a psychotic spirit because you're vibrating at a psychotic level. You see why certain levels of initiation are not for everyone? When everyone jumps up and says, "I have some money, I have $1,500, I have $3,000, initiate me, make me a priest," which is such a silly idea if you think about it. If these African traditional systems are so complex, so respectable, so amazing in their design and in their calculations, do you really, truly, honestly think it would be this easy to become a priest or priestess of them? I mean, give that a little thought for a second. When people get initiated and then they immediately think there's something, they don't understand that's not how it works. You're initiated to begin to learn to maybe one day become a priest or priestess, but for systems that have a certain level of decency and regality to them, you're not just going to get that level of title overnight. And you shouldn't be looking for that level of title overnight. Okay? So it's the same thing that goes into your readings. When you read things and you think you're spot on, you have to kind of consider what kind of personal work you've done within yourself first. So one of the lessons in the ANU spiritual training is healing the emotional body. It's very important, that phase one. You guys, I'm ready for phase two. Guarantee you, a lot of you are not. I'd say 99.9% of you are not ready for phase two because you have not dealt with the issues and the balancing that phase one brings. Okay, so when you're dealing, and phase one deals with the ministry of self, healing yourself, okay, getting yourself in alignment. Most importantly, getting you vibrating on the proper frequency. You have to be able to vibrate on the proper frequency, and it goes up and beyond your ideas of the higher self. And when you go up and beyond the ideas of the higher self, you'll look around and there you'll find and see all of the gurus. That's where they've been relaxing all this time, up in that realm. Okay, so when we do readings, and there's an exercise in them that I kind of gave you, the addendum piece to this segment. But when we do readings and we do divinations and we do things like that and we do our prayers or our duras, one of the things that we're doing is trying to remove ourselves from the grips and holds of our own insanity to just for a moment, even for a millisecond, it's still effective to be able to vibrate at that level beyond the highest of the highest, or the highest of the highest that we can fathom. But it's important to know that whatever your vibration is what you're going to attract. So, and it's not just as simple as saying, well, I'm vibrating with the energy of love. It's a little, that's kind of oversimplifying, especially if you don't know what love is. And as I said in the addendum piece, we have some of our new spiritual training students who need to continue their defining assignment of the word love. Okay? Can't keep throwing them around words that you don't know the meaning of. Then you have no basis and no standard of really how to communicate with anyone. It becomes very confusing at that point. But in any event, so we have the spirit, this energy, and this idea of vibration, right? And how is vibration used? Vibration is used to loosen the grip of the static mind. It's used to loosen the grip of the wayward spirit so that you can get to a place where you can begin to pull it up. You can drop down Orumila or Batala's chain and start to pull yourself up by it because you loosened the grip. You can get to Orun, or what we know to be as heaven, fifth dimension, by the energy and power of your vibration, right? But we can use vibrations to communicate, using telepathy. We can use vibrations to attract things, using that energy of Oshun. And there's more than just vibrating with the energy of Oshun. If you vibrate with any frequency and you attract something, you've now just used Oshun. Whatever it is that you attract. Like I said, if you attract psychotics, you've used the energy of Oshun. Some will see that as blasphemy, but I'm going to explain to you so you know. Oshun is a force of congregation. Okay? So Oshun brings people together. And if that joining were always one that was completely beneficial for us, we would not have a 79% divorce rate in the U.S. Okay? So that joining and that coming together is going to happen regardless once you call on those energies. Just like if you're vibrating at the level of a psychotic, you're going to call psychotics into your life, whether that's what you consciously want or not with your active consciousness. As you know, you have an active consciousness and then you have a subconsciousness, one that is working as a subcontext along with everything that you do. All right. So again, we're dealing with just the vibrations of certain things and how they affect your readings and your spiritual work. And as I said to you before, the energy that you enter into your rituals with will be the energy that ritual amplifies. I talk to so many people in this spiritual way and in this walk who have issues with fear, and they don't want to resolve them per se. They're just doing spiritual work on top of spiritual work, but not addressing their serious issues such as their issue of fear. Can't do that. It's not going to work for you. If you do not address your issues of fear or your issues of paranoia, they now shroud and cover every single one of your readings, every single one of your rituals. You cannot have hang-ups. Hang-ups are nothing but earthly and material attachments kept within your energy matrix by the energy of Satan. Okay? So you cannot have those type of attachments if you're going to do spiritual work. You're going to have to be able, and it's not as quick and easy as attaching and saying, well, I don't care anymore. Or I'm just vibrating with love and light, and I'm not giving energy to the things that I don't want to give energy to or attention to. I don't want. They're in there. They're in there. Like Ragu in the commercial. It's in there. It's in there. Those issues are still down in there until they're confronted. How do you confront your issues? You use the energy of Oya. 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 Okay, now Oya deals with the confronting of not only our issues, but of vicious people. Okay, whenever you're doing a reading, whether it be tarot or it be any reading that's going to bring up Orisha, right? Because there's a lot of them, so I don't have to go through all of them. But if you have that Oya energy coming forth, it can mean that the person is facing a very vicious enemy, or it can mean that they're running from something that they should be confronting. Okay, because Oya deals with fear. This is one of the things that we talk about where Oya's association with the Egun, but so made it so wonderfully with her husband Shango, who represents courage. Shango giving us the courage to get through the things that Oya is presenting us with. Some people are scared of the cemetery, another one of Oya's domains. So it's that vibration that you send out. And I know this seems very simplistic. We have a lot of New Age information that speaks about this now in this time. The energy that you give out is the energy that you receive, laws of attraction, so forth and so on. And I'm speaking about that, but I'm speaking about more than that. I'm speaking about the sculpting and the creating of the reality that you currently live in based on the frequency that you're tuning into. If you understand yourself living in the Okan realm, Okan means heart, right? In our Yoruba, and this is the true realm that you reside in, where your Ori resides in the Okan, O-K-A-N. Please write it down, those of you who are interested in that, because I'm going to be touching upon that again in another show. So within that realm of the Okan lives your Ori, which is your higher self, that doppelganger, or your guru identity. Okay, your guru source. Now, if you understand the science of that, where we're actually residing, then within that picture of your Ori, within that realm of the Okan, which is tuning into various channels, it's just various frequencies, and saying, I can tune into the frequency of a fight, of lovemaking, of comedy, of aggression, of ambition. Just different frequencies, however I choose to, whatever I choose to tune into. Now, luckily, it's our personality that connects with the frequency or chooses the frequency. The Ori just has the powers. If you picture it like a radio, right? The Ori is the power that's running through that radio, okay? That pure spark, that pure strength. And each frequency has its own channel or its own shade and color to it. And your personality is the one that picks the shade and color. But whatever channel you pick is going to be the dominant energy in your life reality. So if you pick a channel that plays grunge all day, well, then your life is going to be grunge. That's your reality you've chosen through the selecting of that frequency, and as supported and pushed by your own soul or your own Ori. So you're amplifying and strengthening that particular reality. If you choose a station that plays acid all day, that will be your reality. You could choose a station that plays soul, or that has speeches and documentaries aired. Okay, so whatever you choose to tune into, best believe and understand that your soul is going to push behind it, and it's going to shroud your whole reality. So if you're on a station that plays heavy metal, then your readings will reflect heavy metal is going to speak to the energy of heavy metal. Your rituals are going to speak to the energy of heavy metal. Okay? Whatever it is that you're vibrating at is going to be your full world reality. Whatever it is that you're vibrating on. So one of the things that you need to do, or I advise that you work to do, is to remove the vibrations that you know are holding you back from your spiritual work. Remove wayward vibration from your spirit body. Okay? There's various rituals you can do for this, but a very easy ritual is a bath with eggs. Okay? You can take 21 eggs, put them in a bath with you, and put salt in that bath. Not salt, sugar in that bath with you, and you're just going to bathe yourself, not breaking the eggs. Just bathing yourself. And then when you're done, you're going to take those eggs and you're going to leave them either at a crossroads or at the base of a tree. But each egg represents something, a vibration that you're letting go. And you're going to clean yourself with those eggs. You're going to rub them to your Ori, to your body, to everything. and then you put each one to the side, and each one will represent something that you know. No one else needs to know. Maybe they'll never know. Something that you know is blocking you from vibrating at the frequency that you're supposed to be vibrating at. Okay, so that's a very easy ritual that anyone can do, and as I try to do when I give assignments or I work with different people through readings, I try to always give you things that you can acquire right in your local, grocery, or things you can make yourself. I try not to make my prescriptions too exotic when I can avoid it. Sometimes I can't, but I always imagine, what my ancestors had to do on this landmass some time ago, maybe, and maybe they had to find substitutes and things to use where weren't in other parts that they had traveled to. So I try to utilize things that are urban or close and are local to where people are at and what people can acquire. Okay? So that's a simple ritual dealing with the idea and the concept of vibrations. Like I said, there's an addendum piece to this particular show where we're going to get into more talking about actual, and I give you, I think, 3 or 4 exercises that you could do immediately, starting today and tonight, okay, which is dealing with raising up of the vibration, but not just raising your vibration, but understanding the science of telepathy, and also understanding how we raise our psychic energy using the energy of Obatala. I give you an activity to do that with. Okay, so I'm actually going to close out. I know this was a shorter show than most, but tune in. Like I said, make sure you check back. You should see it pop up anyway if you are following the show. If you're not, you need to click the follow button in Blog Talk so you're following this show, because we have new shows coming forth. Like I said, Sunday at 1 p.m. we have Anu Asafo with Brother Wole, as well as Brother Ifawumi. And on that, they're covering different matters of traditional African religion, as well as Pan-Africanism and Pan-Spirituality. So, you want to make sure that you clicked onto that follow button, and you also are liking the Sadulu House page on Facebook, and definitely signing up for the newsletter. So that way, when these new shows come, or I decide to slip in an addendum show here or there, you're already prepped for it, and you know that it's coming. You'll get that alert in your email box if this is what's coming. Also, this month, I'll be at the New York City Pagan Pride Parade, giving a workshop on Orisha, and that's, I think it's the 27th or 29th, something like that. But that's a festival that's held down in Battery Park in the city. And, I definitely suggest anyone who's interested to come check it out. And, last year's workshop was pretty good, and we did, and this one I'm sure will be even better. All right, but that's the Pagan Pride Parade, and actually that's on the 28th. I'm sorry, and I'll be presenting around, I think, 1 o'clock, something like that. So if anybody wants to come and meet with me, it's on the meetup.com. It's on our group there too as well, and we can sit and talk in person and get into some other concepts. It's always good to meet you all in person when I have the opportunity in the building person. So feel free to come out to that, and I'll be including more information as we go on the Pagan Pride Parade. But in any event, that has been our segment. Look out for part 2, either tonight. I'm going to be putting it up. I'm going to be putting it up in the dawning, most likely tonight. But and you'll get into some actual techniques using breathing as well as visualization to change, raise vibration, and to raise your psychic awareness and energy. Until that time, I'm Yuya Assaan-ANU, Chief Jegna of the ANU Spiritual Order, Head Instructor of Sadulu Spiritual House. If you're not signed up for classes, sign up for classes. All right, become a member. I really enjoy when you are all sending me questions. But I just want you to understand that my priority goes to my students, my registered students. So for those of you who have like 1 million questions, you really just need to sign up for class. Okay, and then you'll have access to me to ask all the questions you need to ask. But I can only, devote so much time outside of the actual school. So sign up. What are you waiting for? Come on. And especially for those of you who are still tiptoeing around buying the book, Get the book. There's even a digital version, okay? So you have to keep asking simple questions about Orisha. They're in there, all right? But in the event, I will speak to you soon. And like I said, look out for that second segment. And tonight, tune into the Blue Click. You can check me out there at 8:30. And on Sunday at 1 p.m., check out Yuya Assaan-ANU with the ANU Spiritual Training students, Brother Wole and Brother Ifawumi. Next time, I am Yuya Assaan-ANU. Peace.
Yes, y'all. This is Yuya Assaan-ANU, Chief Jegna, head instructor of the Sadulu House and the Chief Jegna and guide of the ANU Spiritual Order, coming to you again with another Foundational Friday experience on enlightenment and transformation, the channel for your enlightenment and transformation. On this Friday, we'll be going over some good topics, but first I want to start you off with a little bit of announcement and definitely some gratitude. I want to thank all of those who have been writing in. I've been getting a lot of really good email and messages, and I'm really thankful about that. People who've been appreciating the segments and have been sharing with me how the segments have affected them, and or what they've learned, things like that. And that's exactly what I asked you all to do. Actually, it would be great if you could actually put in the comments of the show, or if you can, even the books. A lot of people are writing me about the book and how much I enjoy the book. The book is amazing. And I'm referring to Grasping the Root of Divine Power. Please put your review on Amazon or even Kindle. There's a Kindle version. If you got that version, leave your review there. It's wonderful and it's excellent when you email me, and trust me, I'm really appreciative of that, because it helps me to fine tune and make my content more interactive, whether it be the show, whether it be the books. There's a level of autonomy that I maintain in terms of, I do what I feel and I say what I feel, but I still, within the realms and the lines of decency. So let me give a little disclaimer there. But I also try to push my material, my content in a direction where people need it. So as opposed to me just arrogantly showing up and saying, hey, this is what you need. This is what you need to learn. This is what you need to do. It always helps when I put something out there and people give me feedback. And a lot of times people will say, are you going to cover this subject too? Or would it be okay? Could you, if I could request for you to cover this particular topic? Talk to me. I've done, I counted the shows recently. It was like either 50 or 70 shows. I don't know, something like that. But I've been talking to you all this time. And for those who know me personally, I'm actually not much of a talker, though it may seem like it. I talk when I need to talk, but I really prefer isolation and silence most of the time. So all this talking I'm doing to you, for you, and to you, it's really excellent when you talk back. Okay. So, those who are sending messages, I just want to say thank you. And, I will be responding when I get a moment. Don't think I ignore it or it's not a big deal to me. It is. I read them sometimes, and I usually check my digital transmissions early in the dawning. So by the time I check them, it's really good because I can start my day off with sometimes maybe a little direction, a little different direction than what I may have planned to do that day based on what someone has shared. Or when comments are left, that's really good, whether it's the YouTube videos or the show or reviews on the book. Please keep them coming in. It helps. It not only helps the ANU order because it helps to empower what we're doing and keep it moving forward, but it lets people know what we're up to, and everything I do with a great measure of sincerity. And based on that, I don't really have gimmicks, I could come up with some. I'm very creative. But my whole gimmick and my whole angle is just to give as much good, solid, applicable information as possible. Like that's actually my gimmick. I study a lot. I do a lot of rituals. I have a lot of years of experience doing this work. And I share what I can. I can't share everything all the time, but I share what I can. And just put it out there and trust that the people will respect what's being done and the work that the order is doing. And so far, that is what's been happening. I haven't really gotten any negative feedback. little snippets here and there, but nothing worth even giving an honorable mention. But usually it's based around why are you giving away so much information, and those I pretty much just delete them as soon as they come in. But so I just wanted to that. I know it took a long time to say thank you, but I think that's the most important thing I could do. The things that I'm teaching you guys, even though a lot of people respond and say, "Well, I've never heard it from this perspective. I've never heard it like this." I'm not making any of these ideas up or concepts up or calculations up. There are people who helped me along the way, and sometimes maybe it was just a little tweak here and there. I might have had the theory, and we're like, yeah, well, that's cool. Try it like this, So it's important for me to return, kind of pay it forward a bit, because I know the more I teach you guys, the more the universe opens up information to me. So it's not totally selfless. But in any event, I want to let everyone know you could check me out this evening at 8:30 to 9:30 or 8:30 to 10, I believe, on the Blue Click. That's a show that I had given a shout out to another person who had emailed me and, thanked me for the show, and he's really enjoying the book. He and his wife. So it was great to interact with them a bit, and they actually have a radio show of their own. So they invited me to come on, and we're going to be speaking about the understanding of the divine. And more specifically, they want me to speak on the concepts, or to build with them, to share with them. They have their own ideas and thoughts as well. But we're going to be talking about duality, that twin energy, similar to the Yabeje, which we've covered. But that is at 8:30 tonight, and the name of the show is The Blue Click. You can find it on Blog Talk Radio. It's blogtalkradio.com/THEBLUECLIQUE. That's THEBLUECLIQUE. And the name of the show is The Blue Click. That starts at 8:30 this evening. So, check me out. Come on over. Let's show their station and their segment some love, and keep it spreading. And maybe, just maybe, in a decade, 2 decades, or it might even take 7 generations, who knows, we might have some really nice, strong networks of spiritual workers and people who are fully awoken to their consciousness in proper stage through the activating of each chakra point at the points and the times that they're supposed to be. Who knows, 10, 20 years, or it's a couple of generations, we may actually get back on top of this thing like we were at one time. But it really begins with these small initiatives that may seem small, just sharing gratitude with one another, networking with each other, and supporting what each other is doing. Okay? So, let's head on over there. But anyway, let's get into our topic. I want to start chopping it up with you all. So this session is going to be one that I think you'll enjoy. We're going to do some hands-on work, and so we're going to take a pull back from some of the academia and actually get into some hands-on. Also, I want you to make sure you tune in this Sunday for the Anu Asafo with Brother Wole and Ifawunmi, where they'll be getting into various topics related to ATR, also known as African Traditional Religion, as well as Pan-Africanism. They had a really good conversation this Sunday. Had a few technical difficulties, but we got it cleared up. It's like the Matrix, the first time everybody falls. So we had a little stumble the first segment, and but we got up and running, and the conversation was phenomenal. So make sure you tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern on Enlightenment and Transformation for the Anu Asafo segment. All right, it's sure to be one that I suspect will probably be more popular than even my segment. I'm hoping it will be. Brother Wole and Brother Ifawunmi are both students of mine in the Anu spiritual training, on their way to becoming certified spirit workers and priests under the order. So I want them to surpass me, So I'm really happy about this segment, and we also have some other segments forthcoming. But anyway, let's get into it. First thing, let's start with some breathing. Okay? Give you a nice little hands-on exercise that I want you guys to start doing every day. Those who are about it, do it every day. Those who are not about it, well, sit back and watch those who are about it. Okay. So let's start here. And if you can do it, even once or twice a day, I'd say that would be excellent. And you want to do this particular exercise for at least 14 days, before we get into anything else. It's a good, exciter of your psychic energy, increases psychic energy. But this particular exercise, also increases your gift of prophecy and precognition. Okay. First thing, I want you to breathe in and fill your lungs to capacity. Right? Then you're going to hold that to a count of 4. Without pausing, I want you to exhale to the count of 11. So that's all I want you to do. And I want you to count in as you breathe to 4. So you're going to fill up, you're going to breathe in, filling your lungs, counting to the number 4. You're going to breathe out, counting to the number 11. So your intake of air is more rapid than your outtake of air, or your releasing of air. Then I want you to increase this, I want you to repeat this, this whole cycle 10 times, in a sitting. The first time you do it, like the first 7 days. So the first 7 days you do it, your little session, your exercise, you're going to be doing that 10 times. Breathing in for 4 seconds, as much as you can. Breathing out for 11 seconds, as much as you can. Then I want you to increase that slowly over that next, 7 days. So that'd be like day 8. And I want you to do it like 20 times a day. Okay? I want you to do it at 20 times a day. The first 7 days will just be you working to gain control, gaining control of your breath. And then in about, say, 14 days, when your control is tight and it's automatic, you know exactly what to do next, how it's going to feel next, then we're going to get into something else. Okay. Now, this next exercise, and it's dealing with breath again, and more importantly, is dealing with triggering and activating your energy of inspiration. Okay. Now, I know that sounds like a light thing, like, inspiration. Okay. Well, I'm going to start dancing or, playing a tambourine or something because I'm inspired. I'm going to go write me a Bible. No, let me stop. But anyway, inspiration, you got to remember, you have the word in, or the prefix in, and then you have spir, right? And spir is the same root as spiral or spirit. Okay. So to be inspired or to have inspiration means to be in spirit. That's what the word actually means. Okay. It doesn't mean just to have a good idea at the time. Okay. It means to be within the realm of the spirit. All right. So, with this one, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to breathe in real quick, but real deeply to the count of 4. So again, now, right? You're going to hold your breath. I'm holding mine now, as you can hear. And you're going to hold it to the count of 12. Okay. And once you hold to the count of 12, I want you to visualize a cloud. Okay. It's going to be a silver cloud. One of those like shiny silver ones, almost like the ones you see before a rainstorm. Probably like the one, I'm over here dropping my rum. But anyway, but yeah, so you want to get, it's kind of like one which you see before a rainstorm, right? And what you do, I want you to picture that cloud like maybe about 3 feet over your head. Okay, it's a cloud that's about 4 feet round. Okay, and it's about 3 feet over your head. It could be smaller, but you know, mainly about 4 feet around in diameter, or it could even be as much as 8 feet, but at least about 4. Okay, so once you're holding your breath to that count of 12, I want you to breathe out to the count of 8. Okay. And as you do this, I want you to picture your Ori-Inu, which is your inner consciousness, raising up into the center of that cloud, so that your head and your shoulders is filled with the radiance of that cloud. Okay, that's what I want you to imagine. Envision that. I want you to envision, like, the creation story. And some of the stories you have Obatala, who brings the chain down, drops the chain, right? I want you to imagine as if you're the chain that's being dropped down to touch the planet, okay? And Obatala is unwinding you from this cloud, but in this moment, you're being pulled back up to the cloud to get more information from Olodumare or Ileri Ipin, who is Orunmila, okay? But it's mainly the breathing. It's really important that you maintain a certain rhythm when you're doing this breathing set. So you want to maintain a steady cadence and you're counting. Do not pause, like how you could pause between 1 and 2 or 2 or 3, but keep it the same steady cadence. When you finished at least one cycle of 3 parts, proceed without pause to the next breath until all 6 breaths have been completed. Okay, so I'm going to explain it again to you. You're going to breathe in quickly and deep to the count of 4. You're going to hold your breath for 12, right? And meanwhile, you're imagining this cloud over your head, okay? Then you're going to breathe out to the count of 8, okay? So that's 3 steps you're going to do, okay? That's the 3 steps. So soon as you're done doing that, okay, you've done one cycle of the 3, okay? You're going to do that until without pause to the next breath. Okay, and you're going to do that 6 times. All right. After you do that 6 times, I want you to immediately start writing. So I should have told you in the beginning, keep your pen or pencil or tablet or whatever you use to scribe with, keep it handy. You might feel like you want to doze off or, kind of just relax longer. Don't do it. Okay. I repeat, do not do it. Okay, do not relax. Don't doze off. That's your psychic energy coming up to the surface. Okay, so right now it's you want to incorporate your psychic energy as quickly as possible. This is especially good when you have writer's block. For people like Brother Wole, who teaches in the segment on Sunday. He's a writer, right? And I'm sure we have other artists within our mix. This is an excellent breathing technique that you can do to generate the chi of your inspiration. Okay, but it's very important that when you generate it, that you use it immediately. Okay, I can't stress that enough. And you're imagining again yourself being pulled up by that chain into that cloud. Okay, very important. So that's one set. That's another set of breathing ritual for you. Okay, the next thing we're going to get into is something that probably everyone knows something about, but may not particularly know how to invoke it at will, and bring it forth whenever they desire and choose to. And that energy is the concept or the activity of telepathy. Telepathy, okay, as we know, telepathy is coined as communication across brain waves. This is what telepathy is coined as being. And I think it's very important in this moment. It's something I say often, and I've also heard Dr. Lalayo Africa say that African spirituality is the technology of the other folk, of the other world. Okay, so it's important to understand that there's a lot of things that we do using technology that actually takes away from our own inherent spiritual abilities. So we know that when we're dealing with this cell phone technology, we're just dealing with someone's attempt to, whether it be the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, his attempt to use telepathy. And he couldn't with his own natural and divinely given resources. So he had to create a bastard version where someone else's spirituality was synthesized and digitized, and even put along analog wire lines. Okay, no, and this was the telephone. We did it other ways. Okay, so even when you get into the idea of the television, okay, telling lies to your vision, that television is nothing but someone's attempt to try to figure out astral projection. Okay, but let's get back into telepathy into what it is and how we can make it happen when we want it to happen, right? Because we are our own broadcasting stations. And in order to understand telepathy, you need to understand the ingredients of telepathic transmission. The first ingredients is love. Right? I'm going to use that word. You know, I don't use that word much. And our new spiritual training students, you're supposed to be defining that word right now in the group. I notice it looks like you guys have given up on it. All right, so I'm going to shout you out in front of the international audience real quick. All right, so complete that post where you're working on the definition of the word love. But the second ingredient is the force of your mind. Okay, and the third ingredient will be psychic energy. All right, now I'm going to explain what this means. Love is an attracting force. Okay, we're dealing with Oshun now, right? The congregative energy of the universe. And love attracts the things we need, and especially the tangible things we need in order to dress and wardrobe an idea. Okay, so love does that for us. It wraps our ideas and our ruminations into some type of clothing. Okay, even pictures or words are sometimes transmitted through the energy and the idea of love, therefore now creating a level of coherency. All right, so when you understand that you conceive an idea or a frame, a mental concept, you're actually gathering and condensing everything that's needed to make that idea happen and imprinting it in your head. All right. So if you had to rewind that one, just rewind that one. Okay. But just think about it for a moment as I'm speaking. Love is needed in that sense, because in order to hold psychic energy together, you must find something to encase it in, or to compress it with, or compress it to. That's the energy of love. Love is like glue. You know, you look at it like that. Love is like a glue. And the force of love is used as a receiver to attract the thought form to itself after it's been created and released by the sender. Okay, so it creates a thought form, and then it also uses its own energy and force to attract a like thought form. Okay, so I'm going to put a certain emphasis upon the need for spiritual love and the avoidance of separation of those things that are divine and healthy, and as well as those things that harmfully destroy us. Destruction is good, but harmful destruction. Okay, so that's the first thing you need. Second thing you need is the force of your mind, because your mind is like a laser, right? Your mind is like a laser, and it beams out light, but light is subtle, and the mind can use psychic energy to materialize upon a beam of light. All right, the mind uses psychic energy to materialize upon a beam of light. Okay, this is probably the most important part of telepathic transmissions. You need a line of sight, okay, a straight line. I kind of got into this when I got into the science of family, the sun, moon, and stars, and I explained how light travels and transmits in a straight line until it's obstructed. Okay, so there needs to be a line of sight alignment between the person who's sending the transmission and the person who's receiving it. All right, and when this happens and it's achieved, then everything has hit its mark. The recipient's part must exert a level of magnetic power in order, using the magnetic power of love, or Oshun, to attract the attention. And that facilitates the alignment, and it creates an attunement on that same frequency of light. Light moves on frequencies. So Oshun can attune you to the frequency of light that you're getting ready to receive through someone else's telepathic transmission. That's why you feel your children, you feel your mate, you feel your mother, you feel your auntie, your cousin, because you've been attuned through your cultural experiences and the affection and the care and the nurturing that you have for one another. You've been attuned to the same light code frequencies. So now when someone's hurting or someone's going through, you get an inkling, let me call so-and-so, or let me go pray for so-and-so, let me pour out some libations for so-and-so, let me go, take my child, let's go bike riding in the park so we get a little time to talk together, or as me and my family call it FaceTime. FaceTime is or windshield time, I'm sorry, when we take long drives together. We go find something kind of irrelevant to do, or mess up the directions on purpose, so we're driving around for 3-4 hours, so we have some time to talk. This is all a product of the attunement of love that we have for each other, which comes through the shaping and the materializing or riding upon that light code frequency. If you want to understand about how things ride on light code frequencies, check out the movie K-Pax with Kevin Spacey. But anyway, third piece is psychic energy, right? Now, psychic energy reacts and responds to the influences of love and the mind. So this third ingredient is kind of created while you're mixing the other ingredients together. I guess you could kind of look at it like that. So that influence of that force of love, or that force of Oshun, and that influence of that force of Obatala or Eshu, that force of the mind, creates an impact upon the etheric body, so that now the recipient, where that energy is being transmitted to, it hits that person's brain waves and their active consciousness. Okay, because if it's not an active consciousness, the person is unconscious, it's not telepathy. That's when we get into astral visitations and astral projections. That's something different. A lot of times we do that in dreams, when people come into our dreams. Telepathy is a two-way process. Even if we're not totally aware that the person is trying to contact us right in the moment, because again, we're attuned to that light code frequency, we're always prepared and ready to receive the message from that person. Now, for the sender of the transmission, one of the most important things is the ability to visualize the face, the countenance, or the energy of the person who they're sending to. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why on our jingilis and our Afure Mukas, we'll put pictures of various energies or Egun, things like that, so that we have a target. Remember, the mind is a laser. Okay, so we need somewhere to aim the laser at. Also, you want to always be seeking to raise the mental level and to become free of all type of emotional I'm thinking waves, rough waves, or what we would call turbulence. Okay, so you have to clear yourself of emotional turbulence and make sure that your mind level is elevated. This comes through study, but this also comes through the same breathing exercises that I just taught you. Visualizing your message you're sending is very important. Okay, but you got to kind of remember that the attempts to transmit should be visual and it should be audible. So not only are you visualizing the sending and visualizing the person, you're also vocalizing it. So for instance, if you wanted to send a color to somebody, you should see that color in your head, print it out in like really big letters, and at the same time you should say the color. Okay, so this is obviously a way that you can practice this. And there's a couple other things. Obviously you want to have a clear mind. You want to have a clear image in your mind, and then once you have that image, you want to dismiss it from your mind and consciousness immediately. So you don't want to hold it too long. You just kind of want to visualize it, and then you want to get it out your head, just like that. That's one of the forms and methods of employing telepathy. But before you even really employ the actual methods that I kind of described, you want to start really going on a case study of Oshun, Eshu, right? Because you're dealing with your love energy, your mental quickness or your mental ability, and that psychic energy. Okay, traveling that rainbow, that would be like Oshumare or Oya. Okay, that psychic energy. All right, so you want to start studying that. These are things that I teach in the ANU spiritual training and the ANU order for those who are learning to increase their energy and increase their purposes through spiritual means and spiritual activity. So with that is our show. I'll see you next strong. Peace.
Always anchor our external direct action with the power of economic withdrawal.